The EU's new AI Act is a truly landmark piece of legislation. But, it faces this enormous challenge. How in the world do you regulate a technology that basically reinvents itself every few months? Well, in this explainer, we're going to explore the Act's secret weapon for staying current, a really powerful mechanism called Article 97. It's important to note this analysis was carried out under the scientific supervision of Professor Vihar Kiskinov.
And that right there is the essential question, isn't it? It's the core dilemma for anyone trying to govern artificial intelligence today. You see, laws are designed for stability. They're meant to be solid. But the very nature of AI is constant, rapid change. It's kind of like trying to build a dam in a river that keeps changing its course. So the challenge is to create rules that can both stand the test of time and adapt on the fly.
So, the EU's AI Act has a pretty clever solution to this problem. It has a built-in adaptation mechanism. You can think of it as a way for the law itself to learn and evolve, almost in real time, to reflect the huge advancements in the technology it's supposed to be regulating. Let's dig in and see how this actually functions.
The answer from the EU is something called a Delegated Act. Now, what this does is it gives the European Commission a very specialized toolkit. It allows them to make specific technical tweaks to the law's non-essential parts without having to go through the entire years-long legislative process all over again. It's a really carefully designed instrument for agility.
This analogy is a fantastic way to picture what's going on. The Commission gets to be the driver, tuning the engine as the road, meaning the technology, changes. But, and this is crucial, the ultimate power stays with the European Parliament and the Council. They're the owners of the vehicle, and they always have the power to take the keys away.
To really appreciate how this mechanism ended up, we need to rewind and go back to the beginning. Let's take a look at the initial proposal from back in 2021 and try to understand why its original design caused such a major stir among the legislators.
Okay, so the original proposal would have given the Commission the power to make these changes forever. That was a huge red flag for a lot of people. I mean, an open-ended grant of authority like that, even if it's just for technical stuff, raised this fundamental question. Are we about to see a permanent shift of power away from our elected representatives?
But, as you can imagine, that initial idea did not get a free pass. Not at all. The EU's other major institutions, the Council, which represents national governments, and the directly elected Parliament, they stepped in to negotiate and put some really important guardrails in place. And this timeline just shows you the legislative push and pull perfectly. You can see this careful progression. First, the Council comes in and puts a 5-year time limit on it. No more permanent delegation. Then, it fences off the most critical rules, like the list of prohibited AI, making them totally off limits. And then finally, the Parliament adds another crucial layer of protection by making expert consultation mandatory for every single decision. This table really brings those changes to life, doesn't it? We went from a system with no time limits at all to a much more controlled 5-year term that has to be renewed. The scope was also fine-tuned. While it was narrowed in some areas, it was also critically expanded to cover new things like general-purpose AI models. And, maybe most importantly, expert consultation went from not being mentioned at all to being absolutely mandatory.
So what does the final version of this article actually look like in practice? Let's pop the hood on this carefully tuned engine and see exactly how it strikes that balance between the need for speed and the need for democratic control.
Right, here's how it works. The Commission comes up with an update and officially tells the Parliament and the Council. They then get 3 months to look it over, and that period can even be extended to 6 months if they need more time. If nobody objects, the update becomes law. It's a simple but really effective system that gives our elected officials a clear say in the whole process.
But wait, there's more. There are 3 extra layers of protection to guarantee accountability. First, the Parliament or the Council can just pull the plug and revoke the Commission's power at any time. Poof, it's gone. Second, that 5-year term isn't a blank check. It has a sunset clause, so it has to be actively renewed. And third, the Commission has to get input from technical experts before it can make any changes.
Now, it's really easy to get delegated acts mixed up with implementing acts, but they do very different things. A delegated act could actually change the criteria for what counts as a high-risk AI. An implementing act, on the other hand, is about setting the uniform technical standards for how that AI is tested across the entire EU. So the key difference is this. Delegated acts can amend the law itself, while implementing acts are all about the nuts and bolts of how the law is put into practice.
So what does all this legal jargon and architecture really mean for the future of AI? I mean, why should you care about one article in a massive piece of legislation?
Because the story of Article 97 is really the story of the EU trying to solve one of the biggest puzzles of our time. How do you regulate a technology that is always one step ahead? It's a very calculated attempt to build a system that can protect our fundamental rights without completely stifling innovation. What we've really seen here is a new model for how to regulate in the digital age. It's a system that's built for speed, but it's also built for safety. This whole framework is designed to create laws that are hopefully just as smart and adaptable as the technology they're meant to govern.
So the European Union has built its engine for the future. But the big question remains, will it be fast enough to keep up with the breakneck speed of AI development, or are we just destined to always be playing catch-up with technology? That right there is the question that will shape the future of AI, and really, the future of our society.